Okay, so I got up and like a lot of you today, I was looking for news on the coronavirus. And, I just want to do a quick video here because I wanted to touch on something that's kind of been bugging me a bit. And I think we all remember hearing about COVID-19 or the coronavirus back in January. I remember President Trump was taking it relatively lightly, calling it a Democrat hoax, saying that this was being overblown. And of course, he's the president of the United States and he's the one who gets the headlines. And so it's his voice I remember. I think it's pretty obvious now that we're in a much more serious situation, and everyone has awoken to the fact that this is a much more serious than anyone initially thought. What is sticking out to me is how much criticism the president is getting over his response in the early days. This morning, I watched Trevor Noah responding to the president's very somber news conference, and here's a brief snippet from that.
But while the president may finally be grasping the gravity of this outbreak, he and his allies continue to make excuses for why it took him so long to respond.
So based on that, what you must be thinking is obviously back then the Democrats were yelling and screaming that we need to do something. We need to start taking this much more seriously. We need to start moving forward with an action plan because coronavirus is coming. But here at the end of January, when President Trump started limiting travel from China, suggesting that we shouldn't be letting planes come in from China and restricting that travel, here is the tweet that Joe Biden sent. And so you can clearly see that instead of praising the president and starting to take those first steps and encouraging him to move forward, Joe Biden thought this was a great time to criticize the president and essentially call him a xenophobe who is taking advantage of this situation, being hysterical and paranoid, and really just criticizing the decision to stop travel from China. Now, the interesting part of that is now they're backtracking and they're saying, well, no, that's not what Joe Biden was doing. But of course, this is the next day. Trump issues a travel restriction for China. This is the tweet that Joe Biden sends out the next day. I think it's pretty clear that we can read into exactly what the message was intended there. Okay, so then what? Then we've got Nancy Pelosi, another member of the Democratic leadership, and this is late in February. And this is Nancy Pelosi's advice to the American people. Again, remember, I'm not knocking the Democrats on this. I'm not criticizing them. I'm saying this is a situation we didn't know about this. We didn't know what we were getting into at this point. And I don't understand why the president's getting all this criticism for not taking action sooner when you have Democrats doing things like this.
Today here. It's exciting to be here, especially at this time, to be able to be unified with our community. We want to be vigilant about what it might be on what is out there in other places. We want to be careful about how we deal with it, but we do want to say to people, come to Chinatown. Here we are. We're, again, careful, safe, and come join us.
Okay, so to sum up, I guess what I'm getting at here is the fact of the matter is that nobody was prepared for this. Nobody knew it was coming. Democrats, Republicans, I think everybody was kind of caught flat-footed. Industry, nobody knew. This is unprecedented. This isn't something we've seen in the last, 50 years. So, of course, we weren't prepared. We weren't ready for this. What I think is wrong is to say this person is responsible for us being unprepared for this thing. That's ridiculous. And a guy like Trevor Noah, who's not, this isn't news, this isn't journalism. He is an entertainer, and I think he knows that as well. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who will look at that and that kind of divisiveness, that kind of one-sided reporting. Come on, make fun of everybody. Tell me that the government was unprepared for this. Make fun of the Democrats who are criticizing Trump. At the same time, you can criticize Trump. It's okay to make fun of everybody. Just stop being just such a left-leaning fanboy and come on, let's have some unbiased shot taking here. Anyway, I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy out there. Obviously, this situation is fluid. It keeps seemingly the news keeps getting worse, but let's just pray for each other, hope for the best. And remember, we were all kind of caught flat-footed for this. And reach out to your friends, neighbors, see if there's anything you can do, because an act of kindness in a time like this can go a long way.